What is happening? Welcome to the Plus Pitch Podcast, your morning pitching podcast from PitcherList.com. My name is Nick Pollack. Today is July 1st. Wow, it's July. My gosh, we're halfway through the season. And yes, we are going to talk about baseball. So yesterday was a smaller set of games, but we had Max Scherzer make his first appearance in ages. And you kind of forgot about Max Scherzer, didn't you? But he was maxing poetic. 5 innings, 200 runs, 3 hits, 0 walks, and 7 strikeouts. And let's be honest, those 200 runs, if you watch this game, he had an incredible at-bat with Aaron Judge, 3-2, and lots of foul balls, and threw a dotted 94, 95 mile per hour fastball down and away, just barely clipping the zone, got the call. It was gorgeous. This was with the man on first. And then the very next pitch was this slider over the middle of the plate that Jazz Chisholm hit for a 2-run shot. It was just so deflating after such an incredible moment that Scherzer just earned. But that was it. That was really the only damage of the day. And I gotta say, this was pretty cool. 93-94 on the four-seamer for Scherzer. I was wondering if he would get more slider and cutter whiffs in this start after not really showing them in the first one. And we got that. 5 over 18 whiffs. Now, he only threw 71 pitches, though. And it's because apparently his thumb was going through a little bit of fatigue. That was the reason he was out for as long as he was. Very disappointing. I am interested in Scherzer if he is a healthy and stretched out further in the next 2 starts. I'm not saying you should start him against the Angels. I'm worried about this whole thumb thing a little bit. And then he also goes to Sacramento Verde against the Athletics. That said, the slider looking better is a huge deal for him. He also threw some changeups in there, which is kind of cool. He had one that froze Judge. And it's so funny with Judge, like, he knew it was a changeup and he took it, but the pitch didn't move enough down. And it landed right at the bottom of the zone. It was like, oh, man, that should have just moved lower. And it just didn't. And so he took it. And, oh, my gosh. Yeah, Scherzer is looking far better than you expected. I mean, 7 Ks in 5 innings is pretty dang cool. Zack Wheeler, ace is going to ace 19 whiffs, Gallows poll. I would just want him to win a Cy Young. But Skeens exists in the National League and all these other guys. I don't care. I want it to go to Zack Wheeler. He deserves it. Okay? He doesn't have a Cy Young. One was already stolen from him by Corbin Burns. All right, with under 170 innings in 2021 when Wheeler had over 210. It's cruel. I still can't believe that. Andrew Heaney against the Cardinals got a win, 6.2 innings of 0 runs, 3 hits, 1 walk, and 7 Ks. Were you streamed against by Heaney? I was, and it's really frustrating. Look, this is a case where the changeup and the four-seamer were working well in tandem to right-handers fine. It might also be that the Cardinals aren't very good offense anymore. It's a Cardinal sin, right? And you might want to go with Heaney at the tee next. Maybe. I feel that Heaney's way too volatile and generally is bad more than he is good, but it's up to you. Ryan Nelson. Oh my gosh. Ryan Nelson. It was so fun watching this one. He went 6.2 innings of 200 runs, 5 hits, 0 walks, and 7 Ks, but he was really 6.2 innings of 0 runs and then 2 hits with 2 outs, right? He had a careful Icarus here. He had man on first and second, got pulled from the game at 88 pitches. And of course, both runs came in. But this was a game of his four-seamer just mowing guys down. 71% usage on that four-seamer. 13 over 62 whiffs. This is a 7-feet extension, 95, 96 mile per hour four-seamer, which, by the way, hit 97 in the 7th. And 19 plus inches of vert that we've seen over 20 as well. Okay? It's pretty fantastic. He also has an average attack angle, which means that that's 19 inches of legitimate movement that is not expected. You have a slider also appearing, 82% strikes. Yes. You know, he had one strikeout that was a down and away one to Fitz. That was a legit whiff on like 2 strikes. And it was great. They actually had a game plan for him, it looked like, especially the second time around too, to just throw that slider. It actually burned him. And I kind of think like, okay, don't get like too happy with it. There was also one that was in the top of the zone and 3-2 count to Devers. I did not expect him to throw the slider there at all. And then it came back into the zone, kind of like an 87 mile per hour cutter, like Cannibal McSanchez. And he swung through it because it's just, whoa, hold on a second. I have to redo my swing a little bit. But here's the thing. The Giants offense isn't very good, fine. But that four-seamer, I mean, he was going after it upstairs. The first 2 innings are just, whoo, boy. it's hard to not get excited about Ryan Nelson watching that heater just obliterate. It's really fun. And I just wish that the cutter, the slider, the curve become something that can be thrown 25, 30% of the time and actually are really effective. Because really this shouldn't be a 70% usage four-seamer. It should be something that's like 60%, maybe 55%. And then you have these other pitches underneath, kind of like a Strider thing, right? A Jared Jones. So I hope he gets there because the movement on these pitches, it's legitimate. It really is. And the cutter at times is just like, dang, man, like, whoa. But you just can't command it properly. And that's really the problem. Okay. George Kirby, speaking of command, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. He did the thing again. He got the win against the Royals, sure, whatever. 6 innings, 1 earned run, 3 hits, 0 walks, and 5 Ks. And that can be better still. 13 whiffs, 36% CSW for King Cole. He's doing the Blake Snell blueprint. He's going upstairs with fastballs and in the lower third with sliders. And sometimes it's a little bit lower against lefties. Same with the curve, which is also there against lefties. And then against righties is the four-seamer and sinker. And also, something I've been complaining about with George Kirby a ton is that he would have one of the highest zone rates with his four-seamer, like a 60% zone rate, which innately makes it a 60% strike rate, right? 50%. 50% is good. That's fine because that means you're actually going out of the zone half the time now with your four-seamer instead of mostly in the zone, the getting guys to overswing at that pitch. Yes. Utilize that as a chase pitch upstairs more. Thank you. 13 whiffs. George Kirby, I think, is starting to get it. And that's 2 starts in a row of this approach. Finally, I've waited like 3 years or something for George Kirby. This is cool. Michael Wacha against the Mariners on the other side of that game. Oh boy, 5 innings of 500 runs, 8 hits, 2 walks, 1 strikeout. This is at the T. Oh man, he had a trio of singles and then a sac fly and a 3-run shot. And that really was all of the damage here against Wacha. Still, that would be what, 4 hits and 1 earned run, but still 2 walks and a K. And like, no, it doesn't work like that. He did not spot his changeup well. His sinker, his cutter, his four-seamer were over the plate a bit and just crushed when they were. I've really thought about this last week or two of Michael Wacha. I didn't notice that he had a 122 whip. And I just kind of excused a lot of the hits that he's been allowing. And maybe that's still fine to do. But he is not in that Holly tier. You know, he doesn't have a 23% strikeout rate. He has a closer to 20%. So he's really a Toby. And I reflected that a bit in the list on Monday. I put him in that David Peterson tier, I believe it was, and Chris Paddock. And I think that's more fitting. I might even say Chris Paddock I prefer right now than Michael Wacha too. Same with Peterson. You have Logan Webb doing a careful Icarus here against Arizona. 6.1 innings of 3 earned runs, 7 hits, 1 walk, and 7 strikeouts, and 104 pitches. It was a tough 7th frame. The win was in your hands. What happened in the 7th? It was 1-0 Arizona, and then Ryan Nelson allows 2. Essentially, they get 2 in the top half, then he allows no more. Logan Webb, oh my gosh. What are you going to do? It's Logan Webb. I mean, still more focus on the changeup than we've seen, which is a little scary because you don't want him to actually be this hyper changeup guy. You want it to be this even split with sliders, sweepers, cutters, four-seamer, and sinker involved as well. But yeah, he's going to be fine. Don't worry. Trevor Rogers had another game against the Rangers, and we're going to talk about that one. And others, of course, Carlos Rodon, Jacob Lopez, what happened there. We'll talk about all of it after this break. Trevor Rogers, 5.1 innings, 200 runs, 3 hits, 3 walks, and 5 strikeouts. It was still good. The four-seamer, 14 over 45 whiffs for that. That's what, like a 32% swing strike rate? Oh my gosh. 42% CSW. The changeup didn't earn 60% strikes. However, it did earn 6 outs. So it was still efficient for him to get to the end of at bats. And the slider and the sinker were just not well spotted. 30% strikes across both of them, and 23 thrown is just no. You can't do that, Trevor Rogers. Okay, so it's one of those cases where I saw him at his peak command last time. This wasn't, but at least the four-seamer is doing well. It is the Rangers, but to still see that four-seamer doing great things is a good sign. Hopefully the slider, will be better than, what was it, like a 28% strike rate on that one? Like a 32 on the sinker? That should be better, both of them. He also had a hit in this game, which is kind of hilarious. That's what happens when your DH gets hurt. And we don't really see that much. But I don't want to go after his start against Atlanta, but probably with the Marlins after that. I don't think the four-seamer is going to be this good. It should not be this good. Carlos Rodon against the Jays, 5 innings, 2 earned runs, 5 hits, 3 walks, and 4 Ks. A dusty donut here. You don't really like that whip, only 4 Ks. He didn't get the win. He didn't have his slider and changeup as much as he used to. Four-seamer stepped in, did what he needed to do. He got through it. Slider did do well in situations, but it just overall was not the same kind of amazing pitch that it has been. I did like actually seeing the sinker, though, go down and away to left-handers. It's a one-seamer that has a good amount of drop, and that's a very effective offering. So pretty cool to see that and getting involved. Patrick Corbin had a very, very poor quality start in 6 Ks against the Orioles, 6 innings, 3 earned runs, 8 hits, 1 walk as well. And it took 110 pitches to get there. But, I mean, you don't really want this. You're just happy for Corbin. Okay. Jacob Lopez against the Rays. 3.1 innings of 3 earned runs, 5 hits, 1 walk, and 1 strikeout. How am I supposed to butter my bread with this? I was talking to JC in the chat here on Playback as I stream this podcast, not only on YouTube, but I also do it during my morning AMA I do every single morning, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. On playback.tv/pitcherlist. You should come on by and just anytime you have questions, that's where I answer them now. Just my office hours every single weekday morning. He brought up wondering if this was a case of Jacob Lopez getting figured out by the league. And I would not say that. This was actually Jacob Lopez just not having good command. It is a situation where he has to have the execution of Ryan Yarbrough, staying around the edges as much as possible and delicately getting into the zone with the cutter, barely with the four-seamer, etc. Didn't do that. Very much over the plate here. Got burned for it. That makes sense. He gets the Giants next. That should be fine. Like, I'm not saying that, oh, Jacob Lopez can't do this anymore. I actually remember earlier on in the year, he wasn't able to do it first time he got back on the horse. I think he's going to be fine, guys. Garrett Crochet against the Reds in Fenway. It's not quite the Reds carpet because it's Fenway still. 6 innings, 4 earned runs, 7 hits, 1 walk, and 9 Ks. They got to him a little bit. I mean, that's just how it is. And it was really strange to see the four-seamer have a sub 60% strike rate with just 3 over 34 whiffs. Ugh. 17% CSW on the cutter is just, what is going on? We had 7 strikeouts of those 9 on his sweeper, though. So that's pretty cool. It's just, come on, Crochet. I just made you ahead of Skeens. I mean, you still got 9 strikeouts, sure, but Skeens has only had 4 earned runs once. Let's correct that, please. Matt Waldron, don't trust a knuckleballer. You know this. I really want him to be good, but 6 walks, 6 hits, 4 earned runs, 4.2 innings. Okay, 3 Ks against the Phils. You know this isn't really a thing you should do. Drew Rasmussen. Oh my gosh, is this painful? He went against the Athletics, 3 innings, 4 earned runs, 5 hits, 1 walk, and 2 Ks. He got pulled after 54 pitches, but it was only 3 innings. So I can understand he's just not doing well. Fine, they're not going to keep pushing him. He's laboring a little bit more. He is turning into a Benjamin Button of now getting fewer and fewer pitches every time. I think it's just kind of one of those extreme starts. We normally see him go at least 5 and 6, and he has a ton of wins this year. So you just keep rolling with Rasmussen. It's not going to be the same strikeout production as we've seen with other guys. But I would certainly be encouraged in holding on to Drew Rasmussen, of course. You have Eric Fede doing terribly against the Pirates, and he's supposed to be that Spider-Man potential for a 15-teamer. And if you can't do this, 5 innings of 7 earned runs, 10 hits, 3 walks, and 0 Ks, how am I supposed to butter my bread with this? Yeah, no. You can't trust Eric Fede. Cool. I mean, what isn't cool is Chase Burns going 0.1 innings. 5 earned runs, 5 hits, 2 walks, and 0 strikeouts. And keep in mind, there was an error involved, where it was a fielder's choice to second base, and they went to try and do a double play, and it was thrown over. Sure. However, it was pretty clear that he was tipping this game. He was throwing some laser beams at like 99, 100 that the Red Sox were ready for. They weren't swinging at these really filthy sliders. And then they did swing at the sliders that were over the plate away, the middle of the way, that to right-handers from Trevor Story and Narvaez, both laced. Narvaez for a double and Story for a 3-run shot. This is not Chase Burns. I mean, this was just a ridiculous game in Fenway where they caught him tipping. He's fine. And if you have any regrets about adding him to your team, spending fab, whatever, don't, because Chase Burns is still really, really good. And you're going to like this. And I gotta say, I kind of like young pitchers having adversity early because they usually come out stronger after. You got to get the reinforcement going. So I don't think that you should be freaking out about Chase Burns at all. I would say this is a good buy low moment. All right, that is it for today. Thank you all so much for your support My name is Nick Pollack, and may your BABIPs be low and your strikeouts high.